so I'm just going to explain why I have to be sober. So it's probably weird if anybody who actually knows me in real life is watching this, because if you actually know me, you know that alcohol and weed have been part of my identity for so long. When I was in high school, I think I was 15 years old was when I first started drinking. That is all me and my friends did in high school, was drink on the weekends. And then I went to college, and that's all I did every single day was drink. I went to West Virginia University. Yeah, anybody who goes there knows that's literally all you do. It was just crazy. It was crazy shit. It was fun. It wasn't healthy, but it was fun. It was crazy. But even more than alcohol, weed has literally been like part of my personality for a long ass time. I didn't really start smoking heavily until my freshman year of college, which was like 2015. And ever since then, I've been smoking every single day. I literally can't recall a time when I took longer than a 3-day break. Like, I literally can't, probably because I have not taken a break from smoking in 4 years. A lot of people know me as like the stoner. Like, even when I wasn't high, like, people would come up to me and be like, you sound like you're high, or like, do you smoke? Like, I can tell. Like, it was just part of me. It was just always something that I was doing. It was always something that I had. Yeah, I was just like always high. And then for some reason I would always date like stoners in high school and college. Like, they would always have weed. I would hardly ever buy it, but they would always have it. So when I was with them, I would always be high and smoking. And that's kind of how I got into it. But yeah, it just like became part of my personality, and I never thought twice about it. I just was like, I like being high. I feel like more myself like this. And it made like things that were boring more fun, like work, school, difficult conversations. It just made everything more fun and enjoyable. But in November of 2018, I started to get sick. It started off as thinking I just had a yeast infection. So I spent 6 months trying to get rid of this yeast infection with natural remedies. The doctor prescribed me an antibiotic, but I didn't take it. And then fast forward to May of 2019, I ended up getting really, really sick. I was vomiting, I had nausea all the time. I could hardly stand up without being dizzy. I could hardly eat. I had stomach pain, and I still had this persistent yeast infection. So I went to the ER. They did a bunch of tests on me. They found I had cystitis, which is inflammation of the bladder, and I also had bacteria in my intestines, but they couldn't figure out why that was happening, and they couldn't figure out why I was like throwing up and feeling nauseous and stomach pain and couldn't eat from all of this. So they gave me some antibiotics and said to take them, and that should help with the yeast infection and the bacteria in your stomach. I took these antibiotics, and then 2 days after I finished them, I felt the exact same. Like, nothing was different. And the ER doctor said that there was a possibility that I had CHS, which is Cannabinoid Hyperemesis syndrome, and he advised that I stop smoking, and I didn't really believe him for some reason. I was just like, there's no way that weed is making me feel this way. So finally, I'm in Colorado now, and I just went to a naturopath. So she looked at all my tests, and she asked me a ton of questions, and basically she came up with the same conclusion that I have some sort of CHS. which cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome is basically cannabis or THC becomes toxic to your system from overexposure. It's basically self-inflicted. Your receptors get so overused that it just becomes detrimental to your body. There's a lot of science behind it, but whatever. And it's funny because everybody I tell this to that smokes is like, that's not even possible. Like, you have to smoke like a pound a day to get overexposed to THC. That's actually not true at all. And I thought that too as a stoner. Like, there's no way that THC can even be bad for you in any way. Like, THC does not have any negative effects. That's what I thought. But that's totally one-sided thinking, and it's even more apparent that I obviously had an addiction to it because I didn't want to see the negative side effects of it. And even when I was presented with it, I just like brushed it off. I'm like, until I actually know for sure that this is what it is, I'm gonna keep smoking. But yeah, like, it's really not true. You don't have to smoke a pound a day to be overexposed to THC. It's literally just over time. So I would smoke like 7 to 10 times a day for 4 years. That is a lot if you look at it in perspective. I mean, there's always more though, but it doesn't really matter the amount. It's really just how your body reacts to it. So it doesn't really matter if I was smoking 100 times a day or 7 times a day. Like, my body is just, the receptors are so overused, they're so overflooded that it just cannot take it anymore. And that's why I'm having GI issues, because if you've ever done any research on marijuana, marijuana does affect our stomach, and it can delay like necessary functions, and I mean, it can affect any part of your body. It really affects your brain, it really affects your lungs, it really affects your stomach, like, if you are smoking every day. Basically, my stomach is just fucked up. It doesn't really know how to do what it's supposed to do. There's a lot of receptors, THC receptors in your stomach. So basically, they are just all fucked up from me using weed too much. And she also said that I could, well, tomorrow I'm doing a SIBO test, which is small intestine bacteria overgrowth, but that could also be why I can hardly even eat anything. But that was caused by smoking so much. I feel so much pain when I eat. I'm constantly bloated. I don't really puke anymore, but it doesn't really matter. And I think that it would have led up to that again if I hadn't at least slowed down. I think that I would be vomiting again. They're seeing in people who smoke a lot cystitis, which is inflammation of the bladder, which is why sometimes when I pee it hurts and sometimes I don't, because sometimes it's flared up because of smoking and sometimes it's not. That was one of the things that was puzzling me so much. And it's not even just like the physical aspect of smoking that's completely deteriorating my body. It's also like the mental, emotional, and spiritual aspect of it. I've tried to go sober from weed and alcohol so many times. If you ask the people around me or my old friends or my old coworkers how many times I've said I'm stopping smoking, and then 2 days later I'm smoking again, or like I'm never drinking again after a long night of throwing up and getting fucked up. Like, I'm never drinking again, and then 2 months later I'm back to getting fucked up and hammered again. I realized just by trying to go sober and talking to my therapist that I use alcohol and weed to get through everything in my life. I have, since I was 15, I started drinking alcohol, and then I kind of like had, after like going to a school that drinks so much, I'm like, no, I'm not drinking anymore, and then I switched over to weed, and then weed has just been a true escape for me for so long, and I think it's like my body's way of telling me, you're done, like, you need to face reality, you need to, like, do something with your life, otherwise it's going to just fall apart, which I really feel like it has. I didn't realize how much I used weed to get through all of my emotions, and I not even get through, just to hide them and escape from them and escape from all this shit in my life that I didn't want to think about. Like, anytime any minor inconvenience or major inconvenience would happen, I would reach for weed. And then in the more extreme times, I would break my drinking sobriety and I would go get fucking hammered. And that's just how I deal with things. I feel like I've been this numb person for like 3 years, and like I said, like, even dealing with road rage or dealing with strangers, it's like, how do I deal with this shit without weed? It's like so hard. Like, I don't even know what I'm interested in as a person. I just have filled so much of my time with fucking smoking and getting high and not dealing with life, and that's really all I did in my free time. So it's like, not having that to fill this void that I filled for so long is just so difficult. It's so weird. I feel like I've literally wasted like 4 years of my life doing absolutely fucking nothing, and this is like the first time I've felt my emotions in like 4 years, actually felt them. So it's like really rough and overwhelming, and I'm like out of touch with myself as a person because I've just been self-medicating for years. I never realized this when I was deep in it, and I even contemplated many times, like, am I using this as a way to escape? Like, should I quit smoking? And every time I was like, no, I shouldn't. Like, this is something I enjoy. Why restrict myself? Like, I love getting high. But I should have, like, looked deeper and understood that there's actually a reason why I liked getting high so much. Because you don't have to deal with anything when you're high. I mean, if you do, it feels better. It feels good because you're high. Yeah, I've had so many cravings. The littlest things that happen today, I've just wanted to pick up my dab pen and just rip it. But I'm never gonna get better if I do that. I'm never gonna learn how to deal with life if I do that. So now I basically have to relearn how to deal with everything. Emotions, literally reality. It's gonna be fucking rough. My doctor literally said that I have to quit forever. Yeah, I'm not happy about it. I'm not doing well. Even like the social aspect of it, that was like really cool, like just getting together with your friends and smoking and talking and having deep talks, and it's like I can't even do that anymore, and it's going to put me in the weirdest position with friends and potential boyfriends and stuff. It's just like, when I can't do that shit, I just don't want to be around it. That was like how it was with alcohol. I've been trying for like 3 years to stay sober from alcohol and have these nights where I get super fucked up. And it's really hard to be in a bar when you're not drinking. Yeah, it's gonna be like a super big change for me, and I'm not happy about it, but I think that it's exactly what I needed emotionally, spiritually, physically. The universe was just like, you're done. It's time to face the music. And in a way, I'm like happy about that. Because like maybe I'll get somewhere in life now. And be able, I just have to like fill the void with something else. I have to figure out what I'm interested in, and I just have to focus on that. And but it's really overwhelming to think that for the rest of my life I can't smoke. But there's also the part of me that I think that I just need to switch my mindset, because I kind of want this in a way. It's really, really rough, and it sucks to be forced to do it, but I don't think I would be able to do it otherwise if I wasn't presented with the decision, smoke or ruin your physical health and your mental and your spiritual health. I don't think that I would be able to make that decision, because I've tried so many times and I just couldn't stop. I think it's going to help me grow into such a better person. So I'm just trying to think about it like, this is something that I want, this is something that I need, and I just have to deal with it and figure out how to deal with life. But yeah, day 1 of sobriety fucking sucked. My head hurt all day, I was pissed all day, I cried so many times. That's the thing, like, I'm crying a lot. But tomorrow's another day. And the longer that I stay sober, the better it's going to feel. So if you're in the same boat as me, follow me and we can do this together. I know how hard it is. And the reason why it is so hard is my naturopath actually explained that you are craving these substances like alcohol and weed because your body literally needs them. If you're like me and you grew up in an unstable home, or you were lacking something, you picked these substances for a reason, because they give you something that you never had. And for me, that was calm and peace and the ability to calm my emotions down, because I didn't know how to. I never was taught that. And the ability to just have peace and enjoy life, which I just didn't know how to do that sober. And that's why my body craves it, because I don't have that support from other people. I don't have that coming in any other way in my life. So that's why we crave it, because we actually need it. And then when you take it away, it's just detrimental, because again, you don't have the things that you're needing, but you have to figure out how to get it some other way, in a healthier way. But she just explained that to me, and it's like, don't be hard on yourself, because you pick these substances up for a reason. You keep going back to them for a reason. It's not because you're fucked up, it's because you're missing something that is fundamental and vital for your life. Whatever that is for you, it's different for everybody else. And for me, I don't really know if I would say I'm an addict. I think that I'm addicted to escaping my problems. But it's like, if you take the weed away, I'm gonna use alcohol. If you take the alcohol away, I'm going to be addicted to cigarettes. If you take that away, I was addicted to having sex with random people. And when you take all of those coping mechanisms away, it's just a fucking mess. But what I'm trying to say is, like, for some people, it's just like, it doesn't matter the substance. It's just an addiction to escape and to, like, get what you actually need. It's like, that's why people get addicted to things, because they actually do need it to get through life. They actually need it to process emotions, or they actually need it for some other reason. And it's not something that we should shame people on. It's something that we should, like, come together and figure out what they need, so that they can detach from these unhealthy attachments. But I thought that was pretty cool, like, in a way. It's not like we're just fucked up. We're missing something, and we have to figure out how to get it in a better way. There's just a reason for it. And once you figure out that reason, or when you're able to understand the addiction more, it becomes easier. because truthfully, it's like not the drugs that are a problem, it's the reason why you reach for the drugs that's the problem.